Hello everybody, this is episode 15 of the G&T Show. Of course, as always, Glenn, Tony. This week we have a special guest on. It's Shane Fitz here. How are you keeping, man?
Very well, man. Thanks very much for having me.
Thank you for coming out on a rainy night.
I want to just give a message just very quick, just for our listeners. We want to just, like, anyone who's been listening to videos or subscribes to the channel, which is like any feedback regarding our videos or anything like that would be very much appreciated, because we're getting a lot of comments when we're outside, when we're out and about, and we don't necessarily know these people. So any kind of support or messages on the Instagram or anything that you feel that any guests that you want on would be really much appreciated. And like we said from the beginning, the support's been absolutely tremendous, and a little bit more feedback we'd really much appreciate.
Yeah, there's a lot of shame. Sorry, I'm just going to get straight into it, right? There's a lot of you motherfuckers watching this, and you are downloading. We nearly hit 600 downloads already. There's people in Asia watching it. There's people in North America. Actually, yes, you can see that. There's people in Canada. Let us know who's watching it, because there's loads of downloads going through. There's loads of feedback from next up in the shops and stuff like that. So do please let us know what's going down and what you think of it, because we have a lot of guests planned, but we don't want to get them in if you don't want to see it. So let us know.
Absolutely.
Just going to be honest.
There you go.
Anyway, Shane, how are you?
Very well, man.
How are you?
that was a tangent over.
Back to the main thing. Shane.
No, brilliant. I'm delighted to be on.
Yeah, you've done a few podcasts before yourself. You're on with Darragh Morgan, legend.
Yeah, absolute legend.
Absolutely, first show of the day. Darragh, you're going to get mentioned a whole lot throughout this podcast.
Loads about Darragh, silky hair, yeah.
Oh, stuff.
No, let's tell the people about yourself. So, first of all, when people click onto Shane Fitzgerald, you see you have a PhD.
Well, not yet.
Yeah, well, look, you're
not the way. Yeah. So, doing a PhD in DCU at the moment, studying kind of clinical chemistry, a lot of kind of microbiology and that, and kind of the idea is to develop a technique to detect wound infections early, within a couple hours. So yeah, finishing that up soon. The work has went fairly well. So yeah, it's kind of been a nice couple of years in DCU, but definitely ready to move on.
Absolutely. So just kind of rewinding back on it, right? So obviously, before you do a PhD, you have to do an honours degree, and then you have to do your masters. So when you were in school, what made you go down the science route, and what degrees did you do before you went and done your PhD?
When I was in school, I always wanted to be an artist. I thought I had this big romantic idea in my head that I was going to go down CID and study art, but a couple months into fifth year, I was completely swayed. It just wasn't happening. So I had a great biology teacher, Miss Wade, and throughout those kind of like fifth year, sixth year, kind of made me want to go into science. So I went, obviously got me leaving cert, and went to do analytical science in DCU. And then from there, I started boxing. That's where I met Darragh. I met some really great, like some of the best people I've ever met in my life. I met through boxing. So, and it was kind of, I'd done a bit of combat sports in school, but it was never really competitive in it. It was only when I went to DCU that I started competing and stuff, and kind of knocked in a kind of appetite for competition. But I was still having problems committing with kind of, I don't know, to the discipline of the whole thing. So I'd be swayed quite easily come summer. So as the years went on, boxed a bit, got my degree, and kind of, to be honest, when I finished my degree, a lot of my friends had kind of jobs lined up in pharmaceuticals and that, and I had nothing lined up. So kind of half in a moment of panic, I went into my supervisor, who was kind of supervising my research. It's kind of in your final year of a science degree, you do a research project. and I asked her by any chance, is there any PhDs or projects or postgraduate projects? Because with science, you don't need a master's to go into a PhD.
Oh.
You can go directly in once you get like a certain mark. So she goes, actually, I have something lined up here. If you want to put your name down, I'd put you forward for it. Just show me your CV, but you need to get these marks for it. And then got that, and it kind of fell into place. And 3 years later, kind of down at the back of it now. But it's been great. Like now, I don't know. It definitely doesn't pay that well, but it's been a great experience.
Of course, and we always say like, you're doing what you love. Money doesn't buy happiness, and I can truly say that from my own point of view.
It's worth the memories alone.
100%, yeah. And you're kind of you're free to think about something yourself. I think when you go into the companies and the commercial side of science, you're very much, this is what you need to do. Boom, boom, boom. Don't sway from that. When you're in the kind of academic area of doing a PhD, you have a project, you're given that, and you kind of make that your own.
You research it, you go at it.
That's it. Yeah, and you can come at it from any angle you want.
No structure, it's you.
Exactly,
what
yeah.
you want to do with it.
And it's appreciated. The more you kind of, like, your supervisors and kind of superiors will kind of appreciate you kind of taking different angles at these things. You're not kind of scrutinized for, I can't believe you critically thought about this. And, you know,
you went on what you believed in.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and that's good. That's in word.
Yeah, I know. I've had a great supervisor, and supervisors, so it's been brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, then we're going to go into, obviously, like, we're going to kind of rewind back again. Be a lot of rewinding back here.
I kind of roll along with things, so.
And you know what? The G&T Show. That's what we love. We want to go into, obviously, your running and where it all began, and we're just going to kind of tell a little story. And just over the years, how it progressed. So, where did your passion for running begin?
The passion for running really didn't begin until really just a couple of years ago. I was playing GA when I was younger, and I was never a great GA player, but I was always put in midfield because I just run up and down the pitch. I just moved the ball, and that's all the coaches wanted. I was like, if I took a shot on the post, it's going 45 degrees off it, so I'd be aiming that way to get it over.
What club did you play for?
Brogue. Yeah.
We should say Ballybold.
Fuck
Ballybold, honestly.
No, Brogue. So I left Brogue when I was 18, and when throughout the years when I was boxing, we do different running sessions. Derek Ahern, boxing coach, would tell us, go get a 5k. The kind of standard is you always be aiming to get under 20 minutes for your 5k. And he knew a lot of us wouldn't do that, but it was just that kind of benchmark. That was the benchmark that we needed to get for us to have that kind of confidence then to get in the ring, that we'd have the stamina. So we'd always striving to get under the 20 minutes. And soon enough got under that, and you'd be hounding out the boys. Exactly. Now who's next? That's kind of it created a buzz around running. It wasn't just kind of, because before at the start it was absolute torture getting out the door, but that kind of competitive, competing with the lads, trying to get the fast 5k,
makes it more enjoyable.
Yeah, knocked a bit of a buzz into it. And then really, fast forward 4 years, a couple months into the PhD, I was still trying to keep up the boxing, but it just wasn't compatible with the PhD and what I was kind of working regular hours, and I couldn't make the training, and I was trying to make the training.
Fully commit.
Yeah, Derek always gave me the constructive criticism was, you're too honest, because I used to show everything when I was boxing, and I'd get by on my work rate. I was never deceptive like my foot, like I wouldn't be able to feint my way and like counter. I was just work rate, and it just kind of had to pull out really just because I just wasn't getting any better. So I pulled out, and then a couple of weeks I go, this isn't going to be it for competitive sports. I'm going to start running next year, and that was in December 2018. So I go 2019, like I was like all of them, like listening to David Goggins and it's like, you gotta do it. I bought in. I completely bought into the whole thing, and I was like, right, Grant, come January, I'm signing up for an ultra marathon. I'm signing up for a marathon, and So I signed up for a 60, just a kind of smallish ultra marathon, 63k.
That's not very small.
That's in terms of like in the scale of ultra marathons, like it was relatively small.
Now,
so,
what did you run up to that? What was the furthest you ran up to that?
Like a 10k, like so.
Then you swing straight up to 60.
But it was 5 months. Like I gave myself 5 months, and I was like buying into the whole what I was listening to. Like you had to get out running every day. So it was that New Year's resolution thing. So I signed up for Connemara Marathon. Which is the marathon in Connemara. As you probably imagine. That was in April, and then the ultra marathon was, I think it was 4 weeks later. So I was kind of ramped up. I just took to it like a fish in water. I just got out, and like my feet were ripped up to bits. Like I'm very susceptible to blisters and that, and just all this kind of. Like I went from really about 3-5Ks a week to kind of within a couple of weeks I was like running 70 miles a week, and I was in bits, like shin splints. I felt like my body was just going under, but I was in my head I was like, oh, I've read all these books, and to be an ultra marathon runner you have to do this, and like in hindsight I probably didn't need to do really any of that at that scale. Like I wasn't running fast. I was really like I'd be going out for like 5 hours on the weekends, just dragging myself around Howth. You know, like remember one day like it was like wind was just bad. I just started bawling my eyes, crying just at something. Like I was like, why?
Because you weren't enjoying it kind of thing. You're just getting out. Motivation.
Exactly. I was telling myself that I had to like run for a certain amount of time, and just trying to kind of build up that mental toughness for these things. Anyway, like a couple of weeks, like that was kind of training. It wasn't the ideal training camp. It was very non-specific running. It was just going out, getting the miles done, and that was it. And now, like I got very fit, relatively fit to what I was the year before. So myself and. My good mate Phil ran Connemara Marathon then in April, and just on the day, like it was very stormy and that, but I just felt like
you've been through
I flowed. Like I ended up coming 9th in it.
That was your first.
It was my first run. Like and it was like 3:07, which was
your first ever race, your first ever marathon. You done it in 3:07.
Yeah, but
wow.
You say that I didn't have to do all this, and maybe in hindsight I shouldn't have done it and all this. But that toughened you up. You were thankful you did do them.
100%. Like
that's what weathers you and gets you ready.
Yeah, it definitely added up. Like, and my feet were destroyed. Like, so there's definitely more scientific and specific ways to do it now. But for my first one, it was kind of definitely I just. Into the deep end, and it was kind of just hard lessons the whole time, but it was just hard lessons just through simple stuff, simple stuff like getting out every day, rain, whatever. Just I'm probably don't approach me training near as kind of tough as that these days at all. I kind of
but it made you exactly what was. Did you think halfway through that race when you were getting pelted down? I've been through worse of this shit. I can do this.
Yeah, no, I was kind of, I remember like I was trotting away and I was kind of passing, like I was passing lads with their club singlets on.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, I don't run with a club and I'm passing club runners. And
when we tried triathlon, we were like, we're running with motherfuckers in the triathlon club. Yes, you're on the bike.
Even when we done the race scores and when we done air race, like everyone who done air race had like a triathlon club. So
and then Anthony McDonald. We finished 24 down of 49.
Ah, brilliant. Where was that?
That was down in Lilliput Lake Adventure Centre. Olympic triathlon we did.
I think I went there for a primary school tour.
Little Lake there.
Yeah, man with the dog. Yes,
but that's the feeling you get. You get a great buzz now. I'm not in a club, but I'm keeping up with because you look at them, like they're the big boys here.
And this is it. And like, obviously, club runners kind of. There's a whole scale of them, and there's a whole spectrum of club runners. But I think definitely in those weeks, because you're doing it for yourself, you kind of convince yourself that you have to train harder and harder and harder. Like you're not on that kind of set regime. So yeah, no, it was nice. Kind of coming over the line. My girlfriend kind of wasn't expecting me to cross the line for another hour or something. It was brilliant. Like, oh yeah, I was delighted. Kind of then it was a big confidence booster going into the ultra.
Yeah, then 63 kilometers.
That was 63. And now I took a week off. I was fairly tired.
How far was the gap? Sorry, between the marathon and the ultra marathon?
About 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Yeah, about 3 or 4 weeks, if I can remember correctly. But I took a week off, went to Kilkenny with my girlfriend then, and chilled out for a bit. Because one thing, Ryan Hall, he has the American men's marathon record. It's like 2:04 or something. But he said it's so easy when you have consecutive races a couple of weeks apart from each other to go continue the cycle on, like do your race and then go head straight into another week's training as you were. But he said like it's absolutely detrimental for your next race if you do that. So the best thing to do is take a week off, take 10 days off, recharge the batteries, and then recycle that fitness that you had for the previous race. And it's supposedly a lot more beneficial. You race a lot more.
And that's it. And you noticed that as well, Anto, because we done the race in July. You went out for your first run last night since the triathlon.
Since August,
and obviously a 3 month stretch away from the run.
Was it August? It was July. Sorry,
Yes, it was July. So last night was your first run, and of course you won't be able to run as fast as you would back in July. Yeah. So you have to work away.
It didn't help training legs about 2 hours beforehand.
It did. No, it didn't.
But it was only just to get the cobwebs off and get the body back used to it, because it takes a big toll on the body, as you know yourself.
Oh, no doubt about it.
These little ones are crucial, because me and Glenn are signing for a marathon in April over in Barcelona.
Oh, brilliant
news, folks.
So is that the Barcelona marathon?
Yeah.
I thought that was. Is that?
Yeah, they did one a few weeks ago. Yeah. Darragh raced in it. Darragh 3 hours and 3 minutes.
Brilliant.
He's going to come back over with us, and he's coaching us for that, and he's going to try to do sub 3.
Ah, savage.
I think he got delayed because of COVID.
Right.
So going back to the original time they had planned. So we're looking forward to it. So this side of Christmas is just get a few runs in, just get the legs loose again and get back used to it.
That's it. Like it's these kind of small runs. Just it's that stepwise conditioning. Because I don't know how many people jump straight in to kind of marathon training and destroy themselves within 3 weeks due to severe shin splints, even stress fractures, because the legs aren't slowly adapted in and eased in.
People are going out, I find out as well, people go out for runs and they go out and they just try to beat their quickest time every time.
Stop.
And it's not like people never take recovery runs into factor, like, you know, just because like people want to upload their time onto their Instagram stories.
It's the way lockdown went.
Yeah.
It is. Everyone was racing through for 5Ks, yeah.
But I said, in one of the first videos I put out on that Instagram that I made is like 80%. Like the rule is like 80-20. That there was like
That's
a famous,
typical,
that's like
it's
kind
a
of
book and
80
all,
book and all, like 80 easy, 20 hard. And I don't know how that kind of, say if you're doing 12 hours training a week, that equates to kind of 20% of that, or if you're doing say 50 miles a week, what kind of percentage, whatever way you want to break that percentage up, but it has to be in that kind of ratio.
And then even nowadays it's gone more heart rate zone, isn't it really?
Yeah, which is great. I think like heart kind of measuring.
There's no messing about with it.
No, there's no
half
cheating.
guessing with time or average pace. Your heart rate is your heart rate. That's how much strain your body's under.
It's completely, exactly. So like it's an honest measure of the intensity. So if you know, if you're doing a speed session and you're kind of like plateauing at a pace, and then you look at your heart rate and you weren't maxing out, kind of you were probably holding back there. Now but that's the thing, some people can bonk without hitting their max heart rate, I felt like I was about to faint before and I was only at like 158 before, and it just happens like that. There's a lot of physiological factors going on that sometimes heart rate doesn't account for it.
Yeah, true.
Would you do heart rate training yourself?
100%, yeah.
So,
this Garmin is me
What
best
Garmin
mate.
is that?
It's the 135 or something like that. Forerunner.
745, is it?
No, it's just a cheap one. Like this was the bargain of my life.
345 myself.
Nice.
Two lads have me head gone. 245, 745, bone 745.
I think it was 135. Amazon. This is the best bargain I've ever got in my life. Amazon. It was like it's worth 230 quid. Amazon put it on a Black Friday for like 120 or something like that. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So boom, got it. I've had it for 3 years.
Not messing with them.
But
I know, if you go under the trees. The average pace would be a bit.
This is it. I'm getting ready for a 50k in February, and it's in Donadee Forest Park.
So your head's already gone.
Boom! I ran a 10k there a couple of weeks ago, and I was busting a gut on the pace I was running. I looked down, and my watch was telling me I was going about 45 seconds a mile slower than what I actually was, and it just completely knocked me head. Knocked me head. I felt like stopping and quitting the race, but then when I came around the lap, I seen the actual timer on the thing because it's a 5k loop, and I came around once, so it kind of knocked me back into gear. But I lost fucking a good few. I'd say about 2 minutes.
Yeah, you just feel like starting the whole thing again, don't you?
I was fuming.
Of course. So I want to get into obviously you've done races, you've done obviously your marathons, you've done your ultra marathons, right? I want to ask you about trail running and how did that all start for you? So when did you start with trail running?
I live about 20 minutes away from Howth, and the trails in Howth are just amazing, and kind of lucky where I live that I have the coast road there. I've Dollymount there, and it just spices up everything. Trail running, you're thinking about every single step you take. You're not kind of going into the
it's different,
monotonous.
So many things getting thrown at you at once, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've watched Nick Bear. He did the Leadville. Do you know Nick Bear?
Yeah. He's like the bodybuilder guy, or he was.
He's a hybrid athlete. Bodybuilding
from Texas or something.
He does take the marathons where he does sub 3. For size that he is. He's signed for Leadville. It's 100 miles of just traveling up and down the. Do you ever see him on the nipples? He's on the course light ad. He does the
nipples.
Yeah, he goes. He's on the course. He went on the famous mountains. He done some famous mountains. But like that, he got addicted to traveling. He was doing track, and he got addicted to traveling just because. He said every step is different because you don't know what's going to be there.
No, it is a completely different experience to road running. And now at the moment I'm doing a lot more road running, but my whole kind of experience with running has been mostly trails. You build up you build up functional strength in your legs from kind of moving up rocks. You're pushing off one leg onto the next one.
Lunging up mountains,
Literally, yeah. You're kind of
trying to drive up from one rock just to check if that rock is sturdy. You're putting the foot on and then driving through it.
And you don't realize how beneficial it is until until really you're doing an ultra marathon, and it gets down to the nitty gritty kind of dark side of it. Those last kind of past the halfway mark where you start. It just gets tough. That kind of trail running up different kind of hills, up technical terrain, that functional strength that you've built up in your body just stands to you, and like you just don't get that if you're road running. I don't think, in my opinion, a lot of kind of ultra road runners might attack me over that, but that's my opinion on it.
You hit it on the head, because I notice a lot of road runners now are starting to take up the resistance training because they notice their body. They don't have the legs that they have. They don't prepare on the legs or the strength of the legs. Where you do have the people coming from the trail run, or people who are going to that a little bit more intensive.
That's what you found was a bit of a downfall in our race.
Yeah, I stopped weight training about 3 months prior, because my body wasn't used to doing the resistance training and then the heavy on the bike or the swimming and all. It was just too much. So I had to knock the resistance training on the head, and my glutes and hamstrings got weak because of it, and they cramped about 100 meters into the swim. Now, about 40 hours beforehand, we was 1 kilometre swim in 20 minutes, and I don't know if it was on the race, it just went, but I feel the resistance training let me down. But you do see a lot of people who are, they're great doing marathons and all this, they're all getting into the resistance side now. They're doing 2 days a week to do it. But the trail runners, it builds you up.
Do you find that the trail running improved your pace dramatically in the road running?
I don't know, man. To be honest, I think it definitely, it gave me the strength to sustain pace, and like the longer trail runs. You probably get that at road running anyway, but it definitely kind of built up those muscles to kind of let me kind of accelerate on the road running, because when I was getting ready for the Antrim half marathon, I was doing a lot of trail running because I was getting ready for a big trail race soon after, and I PB'd in that in that half marathon, and I wasn't doing repeats.
What was your PB?
75 minutes
for a half marathon, so it was a 1:15.
1:15, yeah, 1:15, 30 seconds.
That is big. Obviously, it's very good, but like that's truly elite.
That's true.
I'm into that. I'm all in.
We're on trail running, and kind of primarily trail running in Howth is, for anybody that lives on the north side, it's just one of the great luxuries that we have there. That's for any runner. Like it's the.
See, some see it as a luxury, some see it as hell.
Yeah, no, but it can be, but like there's so much to get out of that hill, that like there's so many trails that network around each other, and you just go into your own world. Like when you're running around there, like on a good morning when the sun's out and you're on the coast, like you wouldn't believe you're in Ireland when you're running around there and you're looking out at the sea. You just kind of go into your own world. So, and it's like a meditative kind of free flowing state when you're on the trails. Yeah, completely.
It's meditation.
Big time. It's just kind of mobile meditation, and that's it. You're kind of you yourself, and that's it. It's a nice place to be. It's one of my favorite places. Like, and it's lucky enough that it's just 10 minutes, 20 minutes down the road. So I do a lot of kind of hill running there around Deer Park. I ran a race there recently with Gale Force. That was a 10k, and kind of felt like I was kind of cheating a bit, not in any technical sense, but just that I knew every single turn on the whole race. Where like I don't know if there was like anybody second guessing a turn. Like I was just boom, boom, boom. Like I knew it like the back of my hand. So it was nice to win a race there. Kind of felt
your own backyard.
My own backyard. But yeah, no, Both amazing. And Dollymount as well. The dunes in Dollymount. If you have a beach near you, the dunes, nice technical terrain.
It's hard to run on, is it?
Yeah, it is. Like it is, but it saves the legs. It's soft because there's nothing more detrimental than constantly running on the roads. Yeah. You need to vary the terrain that you're running on, whether it be grass or sand or something. You can't especially for beginners as well. Bashing out the roads when people go, oh, tarmac is softer than roads. Yeah, like very slightly softer than tarmac. You know. So if you see a patch of grass, it's annoying to run on grass at the start, but when you know it's saving your legs, you'll be looking at it.
And it's gone back now, like you were saying about North Dublin. Like we have Howth, we have Dollymount, and we have the whole Cornish Road. And then when you think about it, what does the south side have? All they have is a Scaldy 40 foot.
That's man. That's all.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? They don't have any. See, like, they have the Wicklow Mounds, but they'd be there all day running it. You know what I mean?
The Wicklow Mounds are nice.
Oh boy, would you rather hold the Wicklow Mounds?
I think with the race that this man's done, I think I know what he'd go for. Which is going into your race. So you've done
some mad shit. Let's be honest. Let's break it down. What was the most? How do I say it? What was the one that was most daunting for you at the start when you first booked it? Tell the people exactly what you done, because you've done incredible stuff.
Like my first ultra, that one a couple of weeks after the Conor Marathon, that 63k. I woke up the morning of that race started at about 7, I think. I woke up at 4 to get me breakfast in, and we had this it was up in Donegal, and up in the hills. It was just a hilly course, and we had this bungalow, and it had just a view of the marina. It was just a quiet kind of village, Mofil, and I was just looking out the window, and I was just like, oh, I feel sick thinking about this race. Like, I don't know how it's going to go.
Well, was it more the concern of I won't finish it, or was it more going to let people down?
I don't know. It was just apprehensive about the kind of pain that I was going to be going through. And it was just kind of going into the unknown with it. I'd done the marathon, and it was grand. It was grand enough, but this was a hilly course, and yeah, it was just because it was the first one. I felt like I had that kind of felt like I was choking a bit. Right, there was only this is a small race. In my head, I was probably expecting a couple 100 people there, but it was only 25, 30 of us, and everybody was kind of kitted out and kind of warming up. You don't do much warm-ups for an ultra marathon now, but just kind of jumping up and down and that, but
moving
just kind of shaking off the sleep, but shaking off the nerves. So yeah, I think once, before every race, once you get to the toilet, there's a couple of boxes you tick off. That then, when you get to the start line, you're like, I'm all right. I've been to the toilet. I have all what I need. So when we started running, you just step after step after step, you start easing in, and this lad flew off from the get-go as if he was chasing a sub 3 hour marathon or something like that. And this was from the get-go. So we kind of I tracked along. There was a group, obviously a pack of us. We went up, and the hills start rolling, and the pack spreads out a bit then. But I kept this guy in within about 100 metres, 200 metres of me, always just in my sights, and just kind of got into my own rhythm. So at about 12k, we had went over a good few hills, and this is where Howth came in, where the benefits of Howth came in, just going up and down. I was kind of flowing fairly decently up, pacing up these, and kind of broke away. So I was coming second at this point, at about 13k, and I ended up catching up with your man at about 15k. And we were kind of alongside each other, just chatting away, and he actually ended up we were chatting. I think there was a bit of there was an adversarial kind of attitude at the start, like
Yeah.
here's your man catching up on me. So there was kind of silence. We were kind of boom on the side, but then we just got chatting and like the kind of like we were in Donegal. The sea was there, and he was telling me like he has a daughter, and she has like a couple disabilities, and he goes running to kind of just, I don't know, get out. But just kind of get his headspace and get his thoughts together to when he comes back, and like it just
makes complete sense.
Yeah, exactly. And it was it was a nice interaction. And then I asked him, I had a couple of jellies in my pocket, and I go, "Oh, do you want a couple of jellies? Like milling a couple here." And he goes, "Oh no, I'm kind of working on off my own carbohydrates or lipids. I'm fasting." And like he was doing a kind of keto buzz, and I looked at him and I was like, that you were gonna just bonk so bad, doing that, and like lo and behold, I took the lead from there on in, and Now he still ran. He ran a good run. He finished it in the end, but
How did he finish it fast?
Man, the energy dumps you go through in an ultramarathon, I have no idea. I don't know. The whole kind of, you need carbohydrates to run these things.
He must have done that before, and obviously in other races.
Exactly.
He obviously has experience with it.
Yeah.
If it works for him, it works for him. But imagine when he was carved up. Imagine how he would have done that.
Exactly.
People don't understand the importance of nutrition, especially in long distance running.
100%. Like it's an ongoing, but it's a very personalized thing as well. And it's an ongoing experiment. Like to this day, it's a stress thinking about if you want to get the best marathon, like your PB marathon. You do have to think about like what gels am I taking, when am I taking them, and why am I taking them when I'm taking them. Do you know, it's these and it is a stress. Do you know?
Do you think you only know when to take them and how to take them through trial and error?
Yeah,
it works for some people, and some people it doesn't.
Does the body really?
Yeah, it does. There is a bit of try. You definitely need to. They say like gels kind of can go one way or the other.
They flush people.
Yeah. But
I think Jesse, for example, our friend, if he took a gel, I just run straight through him. He just sticks to Snickers nearly sometimes.
Exactly, but like
solid food rather than the liquid.
Yeah, but in that race, I was just eating the jellies, Nutri-Grain bars, which I just wouldn't touch off now. Very dry. Yeah. You have to wash them down with a lot of water.
It's more stress.
It's like chewing a brick, isn't it?
Big time. But about 25 miles so about 20 miles, literally at the 20-mile mark in that race, I was coming down towards like an alcove beach, and I went over on my ankle, and I was like, I thought I had kind of like broken it. Each step started just being agony, you know,
20 miles would be 32k.
About 32k, so another kind of 31 to go, and it just that was when that race it was kind of one of my favorite races to look back on because of how much pain I went through. But there was my man, Dad, and my girlfriend Aoife were driving around Donegal trying to find me, trying to support, kind of meet me on the side of the road and go, "Oh, Shane," and they finally caught up with me. This is at about the 20. It just passed around the marathon mark, and I was crying my eyes out. I was I was near ready, considering pulling out because I had another half marathon to go. You know, it was kind of but they were so supportive in the car. Just kind of boom, here, take some water, take some diet. We're and you just take a mile. I just took a mile. 1 mile at a time after that, and I was still in the lead. I was still moving and moving.
And you're going through all them emotions.
It was still the competitive aspect. When you're in the lead, there's kind of you want to hold on to the lead. You know, it's kind of I'm in the lead. I don't want to lose this. It was kind of. It was one of the toughest races to pull through. I've ran a lot longer since, and to this day, that was kind of still the one of the toughest ones I've done. And I ended up winning it. I was delighted in the end. Now, your man who came behind me, he was only about 5 minutes behind me. But
one more mental breakdown, he was in there.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was stopping, and I was like we were in like the Trail Barron Hills, and I'd be like, it started fogging around, and I was like screaming at myself, like, I was like, there's no one around, I can cry, have a little cry here. You know. So, but I was delighted, and after that, I went off. I stopped running. Well, I stopped the discipline of running for a couple months. I'd already signed up for the Eco Trail 46k, which I ran again there a couple of months ago. And it's a tough race. But like, I went to Glastonbury, went to festivals over, and I just, the want for it, like, I felt like that was such a kind of big exertion of energy, that ultra marathon, that I just needed to take. And I was like, I'll take 1 week off, and 1 week turned into a roll on of a couple, and I lost momentum. And then
there's nothing worse, because then as it goes on, you're feeling shit.
Man.
You're just waiting for the next race.
Exactly. I only left myself with 4 quality weeks to get ready for that next one in Wicklow, and it was absolute. Like, I thought the first one was torture, but this one I just destroyed myself. I've never felt pain like it. It's like a tough trail race, and even when you're well, like, I trained really hard for it in September, and I still felt like the race got the better of me, you know. And Jesus Christ, my legs had a life of their own. What it felt like was like it literally felt like I had these massive bugs running through my legs. That was the cramps. They were just.
That's what we said. Did you ever see the Scorpion King?
Yeah,
when the bug is inside the skin.
Exactly. It was the mummy.
Said that
I seen it, and I was like, I am fucking like.
Oh, he said that to you. He thought it was mad. My quads were like that in the race.
This is what we get.
And your muscles like twitching.
Yeah, and you don't know what's going on.
terrible.
You feel like there's fire and an ants running up, you know.
Yeah.
You can't explain it, but you'll never forget it.
Yeah.
You'll never forget it.
This is why we get the guests on from us as well, so we can share our experience and then somehow relate to it.
Exactly, and it kind of haunted me. I was like, I'm never going to be this unprepared for a race like this again, you know.
But do you feel like it just happened? That can happen at any stage. I don't think you can actually prepare for that.
No, it happened in that last race, but maybe what I'm saying is I'm never going to let this happen to me this early on. Again.
Did it haunt you mentally though when you were taking steps, thinking?
Anything.
Last night in Arbon,
Yeah.
I kept thinking that every step was it's going to come in. Here he comes.
Yeah.
Here he comes. It never did come, but it does affect you
It
mentally when you
does.
go through that pain barrier in the scenario.
Man, I ran the same race there a couple of weeks ago, and when I got to the point that it had previously hit me, I started kind of panicking. I was like, okay, every step, okay, it hasn't hit me yet. Then
you're waiting for it.
Yeah. And then like a couple K later, I started to feel like tightness kind of build up, and it didn't hit me as intensely, but it still
It does haunt you then, memories.
savage.
What was the worst pain you've gone through? Because you do talk about pain a lot in your profile on social media, and getting yourself ready to fight this pain barrier. People don't understand the pain you do go through.
That was serious pain. Like my legs fucking felt like boom. But
even days after.
man, I don't know. I went out that night and I was like John Wayne, like in the corner, like I had a couple of pints, and the next day though, I didn't put time into the stretch. Like, I don't think stretching or rolling or anything would have helped me out anyway. Like, and I woke up, I honestly felt like I'd been hit by a car. Like, I couldn't move.
Can't bend the leg.
Couldn't move. And it took me about 5 days. I was going through work, up the banisters in work, like that. I was in there. And it was the same, like that 80k I done in Mayo in the summer. That was kind of a different kind of pain. I felt like my whole body was kind of going into shutdown. Like the last 10k of that race, like I was chasing. I was in second place and I was chasing first place. And there was a part where I thought I could have, and then boom, it hit me, it came up my legs, and then the more I tried, like the heavier my arms went, and that's where like a bit of more core strength probably could have helped me there. Just kind of
that ran the body to its maximum.
Yeah, I was kind of.
Weight and you hit the body in that position.
And then, funny enough, you see the finish line with 500 meters to go. You see the people. Oh, come on, Shane!
Like a brand new person.
And you start kind of, you get your stride back, and boom, and it's like, where the fuck was this energy?
Where did this go from?
A kilometer.
As soon as you stop,
Yeah.
the pain comes in.
Exactly. Yeah.
Have you ever had any major injuries from running?
No, I nothing past a couple of weeks. Like earlier on this year, just road running had me out with kind of nicks on my legs. My legs were in bits trying to run, but once I diversified the terrain I was running on, everything changed. Like I just changed my approach to training. Like softer run. I was running soft anyway, but the terrain is completely essential, and obviously put a bit of time into stretching. I know it's a pain in the hole, but
has to be done. That's what I mean. Like you see a lot of elite athletes, they don't get injured often because they take their recovery, nutrition, and stretching, and obviously the condition is very serious.
Yeah.
You see the difference.
What would your week's training be, and how would you go with resting? Because even today, you were in St. Anne's today.
I was in St. Anne's today, but that was all grass as well. That was a speed session on grass, and my week at the moment I'm doing about 65 miles, which relative to like a couple of people, it isn't that much, but I feel like I'm performing well.
What's that kilometer wise, just for people who are
It's 1.6, so a mile is 1.6k, so if you multiply it, a mile 65 by 1.6,
it's about 108k, so I kind of couple of weeks at 108, and then I'll probably try kind of get up to 75, 80 in January.
Just a slow
80 miles. But that's it. Like it's very easy to kind of like, I've done this before. I'll rush into it. But I'll do a nice easy, but I will try sustain that mileage now.
We have a long run, we have a short run, we have the sprint session.
Yeah, at the moment I'm doing one quality session a week, which would be my repeats, and that usually is like 8 1 kilometer repeats, 60 seconds rest, or 5 1 mile repeats with 90 seconds rest, or sometimes I work off time. I'll do like 4 minutes hard, 90 seconds off, again repeat that, and I'll do one of them a week, usually on a Tuesday or Wednesday.
That'd be like your speed session.
That'll be my speed session, yeah. And then I might do a kind of steady session 2 days later. I'll have a kind of nice easy run, or nice easy 2 recovery runs on the Wednesday, 5k in the morning, 10k in the evening. And then on the Thursday, I'll do kind of a steady run, which would be like a couple miles easy warm up, and then kind of just steadily pick it up into kind of, say, marathon pace. For say 8k or something like that, and then ease it back down on a cool down. And then what I'm trying to do now with the long runs is kind of introduce a bit more pace into them. Now I tried that last weekend. I kind of 6 miles at this, ramp it up at 6 miles, ramp it up again. The last 6 miles I was in, rag oil the wind.
Yeah, it is tough.
It's trial and error at the end of the day.
But that's it. Like, and it kind of, but it's something to strive for. Be able to kind of
kick on
steadily accelerating in the latter stages of the race. So that's what I'm trying to kind of get going at the moment, or in the next couple of weeks. You know, I'm just not there yet, strength wise, because you need to be consecutively hitting those mileage goals to have that in the legs to execute in those runs. So that's kind of one quality session, a steady session, a long run. And then every day in between recovery runs, you know.
Would you do resistance training at that?
I would love to, man. I just don't have it. Yeah, it's just time, you know, isn't it?
Did you feel you brought that? You did have that time, and you fitted it in. It benefited.
100%. Like yeah, no doubt about it, man. No.
So, your goals for the future. So, short-term goal and a long-term goal.
Yeah.
Hit me with it.
Short-term goal is is, well, first of all, Donadee 50k in February, which is a good tough race and quality. Like I'm
time in mind.
I'm hopefully get as close to under 310 in that. That's the goal, you know. It's 3. And we'll see, you know. We'll see how we go.
That's crazy.
You know, we'll just
what
give
pace is that?
350k. We'll see. We'll see how we go. As I was saying to you about the Antrim half, I didn't go there with a time in mind. Or was I saying it to you?
Yeah,
I was saying it to you,
yeah.
and I didn't go there with a time in mind. Like, if I was to tell myself, oh, you're going to run 115, I wouldn't have done it. You know, I just go there, run the best race I can. All I have to do is just make sure the preparation has been done, and then it's all down to the day. You know. So like if the preparation's been done right, and you've put in good hard speed sessions and good hard long runs and made sure that you've done everything along the way because those recovery runs then give you that stamina then to sustain it, that continuous day after day after day running, kind of gel everything. They gel the long run, they gel the speed sessions together, and everything becomes that one kind of package and process that you then bring into the race. Then it's down to the day, and it really is what's going on mentally. It doesn't happen by itself, you know. And you could run faster than a target time, you could run slower, especially with ultras, because like really they say when you're running a marathon, the race starts after 20 miles. With ultras, everybody has their own mark where shit gets real, like, and it really becomes hard. So we're just gonna see how we go, and then I'm signing up for Paris Marathon on Thursday as soon as I get paid, and that's in April. But just before that, I'm running my first cross country race with DCU in March, so that'll be good fun.
What's cross country?
It's like in a field, where, like, have you ever seen these races where
teams
like,
of 4, is it?
It's like teams of 4, but loads, and it's like this charge at the start, and you're kind of running on grass, and it's just super intense. Like it's a rough kind of. But because I can't do track, but I love the idea cross country.
What distance is that?
I think it's at like 10k or 8k.
Yeah.
It's
So
so that I'm looking forward to that. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
No.
So with the Paris one, with the Paris Marathon, what time would you have in mind with the Paris Marathon?
Paris Marathon would. I don't know, man.
what's the terrain like in that?
It's flat enough. It is flat enough. I don't know.
You won't know
with
the year, will you?
Yeah, with the months going the way if they go well, I think, and I'm disciplined and can get the most out of me training. I think I'm gonna say preliminary. Under 240, between 235 and 240, like I'd be delighted if I do better. But if I do worse, you know,
You won't know till the day.
This is it. I feel with hitting the 115 in the half marathon, I think I'm on for in the 230 range, between 230 and 240. But it's down to me where that mark lies, or it could be even outside. Definitely outside on the 240, not outside on the 230 end. But that's what I'd be gunning for. But again, no, on the day, no expectations. Just run the fucking race as good as you can and be hard on yourself on the day. And don't be looking at the watch constantly, but just know yourself. Go off that kind of feel where you need to be pushing.
I noticed that myself. When I don't look at my watch when I'm running, I perform better when I'm not thinking about it.
Mm.
When I done my race, I know you've done hundreds of races. The only race that I didn't look at my watch until I was at 15k. And I said I would have been happy with around the 4:40 pace. And I didn't look at the watch. The game plan was not to look at the watch. Look at 15k, I was at 4:27. I was like, oh, fuck, right, I took it back in now.
I think you enjoy it more.
Yes,
you're not obsessed with those
Yeah.
Because you're not putting yourself under pressure.
And exactly, and if you're going faster than you think, you're like, I can't sustain this. I'm gonna blow up. I can't do this. You know, like the doubts come. Like so, that's why, like when I was running the road relays with DCU there, and these are all lads that have done track. They've kind of come through track, been running it for years. None of them wearing watches. They go, what are you wearing a watch for? You're getting timed by the time maker anyway. It's kind of like, and I was like, fuck off, like it's going on me Strava. So that was it, like.
Yeah, sick. So I want to ask you, I wouldn't say deep question, but like, you know, just a general question. Where would Shane Fitzgerald be without running? What does running mean to you? And like yeah, basically, what way does running mean? What does running mean to you? And what would you be without running?
Running, like day to day, I like when I think about like my life as a whole, and I was like, I don't need running. But on a day level, when I'm kind of day to day, it gives each day a bit of value. It gives each day, like if you don't do anything else, at least you got your running. It gives you that bit of fulfillment. It's just that one goal that you can hit, and you can be happy about it. Like I don't really feel that, like relative to other people, that I've achieved much in running. But it's that kind of like, what can I achieve if I keep working at it? It's that kind of like, it's that like, it's almost limitless in a way. Now there is the limit of time, and like you have a finite amount of time on your athleticism, and that's kind of right now. So I do like, I feel like right now it's a huge part of my life, and kind of my future kind of when I think about it, it all involves running, and running for many years. You know, I want to be one of those L lads out running. I've ran 50 marathons. Two knee replacements, done double. Like I want to be like that, because it's a great thing, and kind of without it, I'm sure I'd find something else. I played a bit of it. Like I like music and stuff like that. I definitely. It's just running that's kind of taking the forefront of that, you know.
Give you a bit of fulfillment, and it's kind of like, I feel like myself personally, when you're setting goals for yourself, like you're doing races all the time. When you're setting goals for yourself, I know with me, when I'm setting goals, it's really good for my own headspace.
Exactly, yeah.
Because when you're setting a goal where you have it harder on something, but then when you don't have a goal and your mind isn't occupied, in ways for a lot of people, like from experience, it could be a really dark place sometimes. So that's why I kind of ask you, like, if you didn't have running, how would, like, and your mind wasn't occupied, how would that affect you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's like, because when I was out for a couple of weeks earlier on in the year with an injury, it was making me thinking, because I was sitting around a lot, and I was like, what the fuck am I without running? Because you run so much, and then when you can't run and you're not with your mates or your girlfriend and that, you're stuck with yourself, and you're like, surely there's more to this. Like if I was hit by a car and I couldn't walk tomorrow, there's something. And like I'm sure there, like for me and myself, I'd find that if running wasn't an option. But at the moment, I love moving around and getting a sweat in and competing, pushing the body just as far as I can while I can do it, because you won't be able to do it forever, so like you may as well just kind of hit it hard.
You're a man.
Man, like it's just it's there, like.
No, but it is. It's very inspiring to actually sit down and have a chat with you, because I don't think you actually realise what incredible shit you've done.
And then we get to have a sit down and you reflect on it.
I do. I just love it so much. I don't kind of think of it as like it's kind of. But no.
That's not that crazy about marathon. That what your first one was 3 hours and 5 minutes.
Man, like I've a couple of mates that are smashing the marathons out in 2:30. Like
your first one, your first one, and then you went.
It's the beauty of being ignorant to the whole thing, though, isn't it? Like
naive,
complete naivety. Just go out and run. Like you can listen to people all day long about paces, and you need like boom. I'd say you're a 3:40 guy. I'd say you're 3:30.
Let's say you're a dickhead, maybe.
It was just complete naivety. I was like, I'll go out and I go out and run, and that it's the same. It's the thing. One thing that I still take to me running on race day today. Just fucking boom, run the race, and don't think. Overthinking is the crusher of anything. You know, like. And that's the beauty of running. Like when you can hit that state where no thoughts are going on, there's actually nothing going on up there. You're just boom. All you're conscious of is your stride. Boom. You're not thinking about anything else. That's when you are at the peak of your powers. Do you know, like that? And exactly. So it's the flow state. It's where you want to be. And when you're racing, you need to be kind of thinking. I'm doing it. Shaking the finger, it's exactly what I'm doing, but you need to be kind of mentally, that's a mental goal. Like obviously you have your physical goal, but you have to have the mental goal of I need to have nothing going on. And that was before I was getting ready for the ultra. I said it on my story. I goal for tomorrow is to find my flow state early on. So find a point on the horizon, get to that, and just almost like let your sight go blurry from how much you're in a trance, you know, and just get the breathing going. And you'd be surprised, you're literally at the peak of your powers.
How long did it take you to get to that state?
How
long did it take for you to get into that state of mind where this is going to be me now, this is me and just the track like it? When did you realise I'm going to bring this into a race? Was that from the first one?
I read a great book, Eat and Run by Scott Jurek, and he talked about it. He called it.
It's kind of hard to picture it until you're actually in it.
He had like a Japanese. There was a Japanese Bushido or something like that. He's always referred to Bushido or something like that when he was running, and it was just boom, flow state, and I was like, what is he talking about? And then when you're running, you just go, what was he talking about? Just boom, empty the mind, boom, just focus on the breathing. Obviously don't close your eyes when you're running, but like almost like just stay conscious of what's in front of you and go into a trance. And boom, whether it's in a race or like obviously it gets harder when you up in that intensity because the body's going into flee mode. Like it doesn't want to be pushing as hard, but it's still like it's harder to do, but it can still be done. Like I find I slip up into it, but when you're in an ultra, all you have is time, and it's a lot easier to kind of just boom, zone out.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Yeah, I didn't look at it like that. Now I'm gonna actually start thinking of it like
but that. Yeah, like when you do like what you do, like swimming and stuff, like Darragh says, and
you do. But I noticed it in the swimming side after the first 400 meters. I can't say the strokes on point, everything's on point, breathing.
Yeah, and like would you be in the gym lifting or I'd imagine it's the same. Like once you have the technique, like it's second nature. Like thinking about it is definitely not going to help you lift the weight. But I think if you just ignorant to it, I like my I'm skin and bone. But I'd imagine so. Like it's the same. Just focus on your technique, and nothing else. You know, not.
I did it on the bike and the swim.
Yeah,
it's the running I need to bring it into.
Yeah, 100%.
Because when you're running, you're thinking 100 things at once.
Yeah.
That's a life lesson there, babe. This is the great thing about our show.
You said it.
We learn new things every day. I'm not a parrot either. That's he always says that.
No, Shane, are you happy with everything?
With
the whole thing in general, what we discussed, because my head's still gone.
I think we could actually do a series on you. I don't think an episode. I think there's more stories.
Your body to the doctors or something like that.
Wait, how like running's going?
Did I be happy with how the engine ran today?
No, delighted, man. Yeah, really enjoyed the chat.
I think we're going to have a part two.
Like I waffle on, you know,
My
like.
head's gone.
Yeah.
But anyway, lads, the whole point of the podcast is to recognise these people. And if you do listen, you can just even the figure Shane is saying what he's doing. You're only doing it since 2017 or 16, you said? You're only proper into the run focus.
Oh, 2019.
2019, like, what you've achieved in such a small amount of time.
Cheers,
He does
man.
need the recognition, lads. So please get onto his page, do support him. You're a fucking mad bastard. You're a mad bastard. You don't realise it. Jack was the same. Our people we get on are the same. You don't realise what they've achieved until they've actually opened up the door. And I don't think you realise what you've achieved in such a small amount of time. It's so inspiring from two people who own the furthest he's ran was 21, the furthest I ran is 10. It's so inspiring to hear. Yeah, your first two races were a marathon and an ultra marathon. Well, no, thank you for giving up your time to come.
It's been an absolute pleasure. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
We'll definitely keep in touch and we'll definitely organise it.
We're like anytime we do an episode with everyone, we always have a good feeling. Or just look at every single guest we have in a room. And just have a rave. Just a rave. And that's it, like, do you know what I mean? Everyone just buzz on.
We'll wait in the corner for the people who strong men or whatever. We'll have a treadmill with like Shane, Darragh and all, and then we'll have a pill for Darragh Morgan to swim in.
And then we'll have a mat over there for Johnny Jitsu.
There you go.
Johnny Jitsu.
Well, no, Shane, thank you very much for coming
cheers,
on. I
lads.
hope you enjoyed it.
It's been great.
Do you know what, Anton? You're going to sign off this time. You're going to do it.
Right, well, the fuckers, do listen and let us know, alright? Subscribe to the YouTube. Spotify will be up Friday night, YouTube will be up Sunday night. So do let us know you're watching.
And also, November, link in my bio, please have this rat lip on my face. 10 days left. Shane, do you want to sign off?
I don't know. Whoever's listening, thank you so much.